You know those times in life where something so small, so unexpected completely changes the way you see things? For me, that moment happened at 10:30 PM, lights dimmed, I began testing the brand new Pimax Micro-OLED optical engine, and that first second, that first frame, I just froze. It didn't feel like upgrading a headset anymore, it felt like upgrading my eyes. Today we're diving into one of the most incredible optical engines Pimax has ever made, and in this video I will be performance testing each optical engine back to back in one of the most demanding VR sim racing titles for performance, so be sure to hang around and see which one and how things stack up. I'll be showing you what you need to know. Is the Pimax Micro-OLED the one you've been waiting for?
Play it on Pimax.
So let's start with first impressions iRacing, and once you're driving, especially somewhere like the Nordschleife, it hits you fast. The micro details pop, trackside signage is razor sharp, and the trees, the carousel bricks and even the distant guardrails, they stay readable even at speed. And the colour accuracy, it's unreal. This panel has a purity that other optical engines simply cannot touch. As I start off on the starting grid on iRacing, it takes me completely back to the beginning of the video where I mentioned that the first experience of using the Micro-OLED optical engine was in iRacing, and it was last week. It was 10:30 in the evening when I started the race, and as I captured so eloquently at the beginning of the video, the first frame, the first experience, I was absolutely blown away by the visuals that this headset represents. Now in this video, of course, we could be looking at low-hanging fruit like rowing through a cave in Kayak Mirage or something completely irrelevant like that, but of course what you want to know is, can the Pimax Super Micro-OLED optical engine keep up with fast-paced sim racing titles like iRacing, Automobilista 2, Race Room and all of the others? Now, the first thing that strikes you is these absolutely incredible colours, visuals, depth of perception, everything is absolutely stunning, like I have never seen it before. The blueness of the sky, the asphalts, but even down to the granular level of the detail. Even though this micro-OLED optical engine is not as high a resolution as the 57 ppd, it is on par with the visuals of that particular optical engine in terms of the overall package that it represents. Now, the persistence element that I mentioned, obviously detail is incredibly important in sim racing. Being able to see those fine details in the distance, the braking markers, we want everything to refresh at exactly the right time. Now, everything from the detail in the apexes, the braking points, everything is absolutely fluid and immediate, and for me that is the most redeeming factor of this. Now, in this video we're going to be going into much more detail. This is obviously the introduction to the video, and I just really wanted to capture my initial feeling as to what I felt when I put the headset on for the first ever time, or put the optical engine into the Pimax Super for the first ever time. I know this is one of the most hotly anticipated optical engines, and this is going to be the deepest dive I have done in probably any review so far yet. Before we get into the final comparison, a massive thank you to Pimax, the VR gods, who are supporting this video, and they've also given you something genuinely huge. In case you missed it, Pimax were making literal waves at CES 2026, scooping up a coveted Tech Radar Pro's 2026 Pix Award, and even attracting the attention of YouTube royalty Linus from Linus Tech Tips. And whether you already own a Pimax Super and want the micro-OLED optical engine on its own, or are keen to grab a Pimax Super with the micro-OLED as the unit choice, I can guarantee you one thing: you have to be quick. These are literally the hot property that everyone is wanting. And despite this, Pimax are providing all next level sim gaming viewers an immense offer. From January the 16th, 2026 to the 31st of January, if you order using my code NLSimGaming by clicking the link in the video description or by scanning the QR code on screen here, you'll get a free pair of DMAS headphones with your purchase. And here's the crazy part. For every 10 orders, we're drawing one random viewer to receive a complimentary free optical engine, or if you purchase the Pimax Crystal Light, you can get a full refund. Yes, a full refund. Also, check out my recent 2026 refresh review on the Pimax Crystal Light, linked at the end of this video. And all winners will be announced right here on this channel in a future video. Micro-OLED, 57 ppd, Ultrawide and 50 ppd. Now it's time for the real test. Assetto Corsa with the pure 3.0 graphical overhaul. One of the most demanding VR sim environments you can throw at any headset. Max resolution, max settings, Pimax Super pushed to its absolute limits. And here are my PC specifications on screen, and as you will see, even running an RTX 5090 with a Core Ultra 285K and 8400 megatransfers of CU DIMM RAM, this configuration is demanding. So here's what happened. On the 50 ppd engine we managed 55.4 FPS. Solid, but you can feel the strain, and in each of these tests I'll be putting on screen through the lens footage so you can see how it looks on each. But remember, this was taken with an iPhone 17 Pro Max. It obviously looks far better within the headset. The test, 2 laps around Spa-Francorchamps in the Seski Performance BMW M2 against cars in the same class. Switching to the ultra-wide, we dropped to 43.8 FPS. Wide field of view, remember, but heavy on the GPU. This felt similar to the 50 ppd. Playable, but remember these are not the settings that we would be using in a real sim racing scenario. I even retested this at 72Hz and the result was only marginally better at 44.3 FPS. When you're used to iRacing at a solid 90 FPS 90Hz on the Pimax Super, this just feels janky. And then we go to the 57 ppd engine, and this shocked me. This has been my favourite optical engine up to now, and it's achieved a staggering 82 FPS. the sharpest optical engine and also the fastest. And yes, I had to replay this twice to actually test this outcome again, but this also is the outcome on a number of other titles. Now this optical engine could be a great fit for you if you have a lower spec GPU such as a 70 series perhaps. And finally, the brand new Micro-OLED, landing at 60 FPS, not the highest in raw frame rate, but visually in a completely different league. So here's the big picture. The 50 ppd engine gives reliable clarity, the Ultrawide gives immersion at the cost of performance, the 57 ppd engine remains the clarity king and the unexpected FPS champion. But the Micro-OLED, it isn't just trying to be another optical engine, it's aiming to redefine colour, clarity and contrast in VR. And it succeeds. In sim racing, persistence is important and it handles the fast transitions perfectly, there's no blur, everything is immediate, there's no mirror or chromatic aberration that some other optical engines do have. Now this is the closest VR has ever got to visual purity of high-end Sony optics, and honestly it leaves competitors like Big Screen Beyond and Play for Dream MR behind in terms of dynamic range and visual punch. With comfort mods like the Studio Form kit I have fitted here, and this is the Apache V3, and it also has the new added reinforcements of the new X1P backplates. And many people ask me about what I'm using in these videos, and it's incredibly comfortable to wear in long racing sessions. The Pimax Super is a comfortable, lighter headset than the Crystal Light, but if you want perfection in those long sim racing sessions, then this is what you need. There are links to Studio Form in the video description, and you can of course also get yourself an exclusive discount by using the discount code NEXTLEVEL. So how does the Pimax Micro-OLED optical engine score in both field of view and glare? First of all, glare. I was absolutely blown away by the minimal glare in the test HMD results, and the blacks were deeply immersive and simply an imposing white on black. There was no shimmer, no mirror, nothing. It was as stark as day and night. Absolute minimal glare. So next up, field of view. Pimax state that the horizontal field of view on the Micro-OLED is 116 degrees, and I got in 3 separate tests, 112 degrees horizontal and 90 degrees vertically. Now I featured all tests for all the other optical engines on my Which Pimax video, and if you want to check it out at the end of this video, I will also leave a link. But field of view tests as always are subjective, and dependent on the IPD, facial interface used and some other factors. The fantastic new pancake concave view lenses developed by Pimax also allow a far smaller interface to be used, and I would anticipate the release of one of these by either Pimax themselves or a third party like Studio Form. The image and colour tests were also outstanding, and I have never seen such vivid and dynamic colour range in any VR headset. And finally, the Snellen test. Despite having less resolution than the 57 ppd, I could clearly read all the lines, clearly with a distance of 3.75 meters, which is excellent. So is the Micro-OLED optical engine worth buying? Well, I've got a friend and a fellow YouTuber, Simon, also known as Dad the Man the Gaming Legend, to come over and test the Pimax Super Micro-OLED out, and he also has a Pimax Super 50 ppd right now. And after pulling him off a sim rig, kicking and screaming for just one more go, his exact words were, "Absolutely incredible." There's a link to Simon's channel in the video description, and be sure to pay his channel a visit. But the truth is, it depends on your use case. If you value pure frame rate above everything else, the 57 ppd engine is still a performance monster. But if you want the most jaw-dropping, deep black, hyper-realistic visual experience that you can currently get inside a VR headset, the Micro-OLED is an absolute game changer. It stands out completely from everything else on the market. This isn't just an upgrade for the Pimax Super, it's an upgrade for your eyes. Thank you for watching this video, and it took a lot of work to put this video together, and if you enjoyed this video I would really appreciate a like, subscribe and share for more VR related content, and lots more coverage of a Pimax Micro-OLED and other optical engines in other sim racing titles are coming up. Here are some videos I'm sure you will also enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.